Today I got this new power supply that will be an unboxing and sort of a review. This is the APEVIA SFX Power Series power supply. This is basically the cheapest power supply that's on Amazon. Let me see if I can open up the box. This is the model SFX-AP400W, which basically means 400 watts. It's a very basic power supply, and you'll see by the size. Let me see if I can pull it out. It's not a very big power supply. As a matter of fact, I mean, this whole thing practically just fits in the palm of my hand. This is going to go on that HP Pavilion, the 6636, because it needs a new power supply. It's been shutting down on me lately, and I'm hoping that this little power supply might do the trick, although I think that we might have to do some modification, because I noticed that one of the power cables doesn't quite fit correctly on the motherboard. So I'm hoping that I can pull off the modification and get this thing powered up. So here's a good look at the little power supply. It's very tiny, and it's 400 watts, which is kind of surprising. But there it is. Yeah. And there's just the side view of it. You can see. Let's see if I can use some of these cables so we can kind of see. So currently this power supply is selling for about $29.99 plus tax. If you have Amazon Prime, obviously the shipping is free. But you know, you get your standard 4-pin connector, as well as your 20-pin, and then the additional 4-pin for the other connector right here. And then you get about two. Make sure of that, but I'm pretty sure it's only about. So you get one Molex connector there, and another one there, along with two SATAs there, and one SATA here, and then you got your one for your diskette and another SATA. So I think you get about 4 SATAs and 2 Molex cables, and then you get I don't know, these, I think this is like an 8-pin connector type. I guess this would be for your video cards, if you have video cards that take this. It comes with your basic guide for the different models of the APEVIA. Designed for a micro ATX case, which is what I have for that HP Pavilion. It just comes with your regular power cable, and it comes with your screws that go in the back of the case to screw this down. The 20-pin or 24-pin connector is not that long, but I don't really need it to be that long because the case is gonna be pretty small for this. So we're gonna go ahead and open up the HP Pavilion and take a good look at the motherboard, since I can pull that from the other side, and then we'll see how well this thing fits before I go ahead and mount it. So I actually found some pretty good news. This extra cable does not actually power the motherboard. This is just a fan for the power supply, which is kind of a strange and odd way to power this thing. I've actually never seen it on any other board. So this is just for the power supply to have that extra fan. So I'm not going to worry too much about finding a replacement way to use this to power it up. I did notice that the 20-pin connector here is pretty standard, and it should fit with this power supply. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try the 20-pin first, and then once I can confirm that that fits correctly, I'm going to go ahead and start taking this old power supply here out and putting in the new power supply, and then hopefully we can power this board out correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm that now. Okay, so as you can see, the power supply 20 pin connector fits perfectly fine there. Let's see if I can get it into focus. So as you can see, I mean, it fits perfectly fine there. It's flush. So this tells me basically that I'm ready to install this on the back of this machine. I'm gonna go ahead and connect my other devices to the power supply and install this in the back of the machine. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I thought I'd do a side-by-side comparison of the 20+ year power supply versus this new modern power supply by APEVIA. This is definitely heavier, but this is only about, they say about 100 watts. Yep, 100 watts. This is 400 watts, but it's definitely a lot lighter, a lot more compact. So as you can see, the face size are practically identical. I don't think I have any problems mounting this. The screw holes are slightly different, but I might be able to get away with it. And yeah, we got this big side fan right here. That's not on here. As a matter of fact, I think this fan is already inside the power supply. So it should make this machine a little bit lighter just because this is a lot lighter. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and mount this in, and then we'll see how that works out. Okay, so the fit was pretty snug, mainly because of this little plate here that has the cables outputting out of the power supply. But the back worked out fine. I did not use the original screws. I ended up using the screws that came with the new power supply just to kind of keep that consistent. I know that the color scheme in the back won't stand out just a little bit because of the black here, but I really don't care about that. I just care about a working computer. I'm going to keep the old screws with this power supply. This power supply was failing, but it still sort of worked. I mean, you kept it on for too long, it would just abruptly stop. So I might just end up keeping this just as a tester power supply. I'm going to go ahead and start assembling the rest of the board, and we'll be able to demo it to see if the computer fully functions. This board this case has a very peculiar way of reassembly. So as you can see, the whole bottom part of the board is attached to this panel right here. So all I got to do is basically connect the bottom part of the PCI bays on the side here, connect them here, and it kind of assembles kind of like a opening door. So I'll go ahead and show you basically this clipped on so you can kind of see what I mean. As you can see, this is what I mean about it kind of opening like a little door. This is basically opened like that. And then the little cover at the bottom here stuck underneath this little tab. So now all we got to do is shut it, and then we'll be able to screw on the batteries and all that. Sorry, screw the screws into the case. So I'm going to go ahead and do that next. First good sign is that I have this thing plugged into the outlet. But it's not automatically turning on. Now I do have the power supply switch off, which is fine. So what I'm trying to figure out is if that new power supply will be able to keep this machine from having the power supply run when it's turned off, because that's one of the problems that I had from the old power supply. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the on switch. It probably will automatically boot sometimes, because these machines sometimes do that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the on button. Okay, so that was the on button and it didn't turn on. So that's kind of a good sign. Let me go ahead and try to turn it on here. Okay, it's turning on. All right, so everything looks normal. Power supply is definitely a lot quieter than the other one. Yeah, the last time that I had this machine on, it was running Windows 98 and it just shut off abruptly. So this is when I just decided to get a new power supply, because This is a machine that's pretty old, and I just don't want it to end up breaking down just because I have a old faulty power supply in there. So better just get the new one. So there it is, booting Windows 98, and I am booting it off that solid state drive. I don't know if the camera catches that, but there it is, solid state drive. Okay, no problem there. Let me see if I can shut it off and see if there's any problems with it staying on after I shut it off. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to my menu, shut down. Okay, so the machine still runs, so that must mean that it's this motherboard that for some reason lets the machine continue running. Not a real big deal, because now that I have that off switch, I can just turn it off from the back. Wait, actually, oh, there it goes. Okay, so it did shut down. All right, great. So it did shut down, so that is a good thing. So now I don't have to worry about having to manually turn the switch off on this machine. Let me go ahead and turn it back on. Okay, and everything looks normal. Okay, so directly running into Windows 98. Great. Okay, so it did take a while to shut down at first, but looks like it will not have the same problem that the other machine had. Let me go ahead and try to shut it down again. It does take a while to shut down, but look like it is shutting down now. Perfect. Okay. All right. So my final thoughts on getting this new power supply. I think for the price and for the fact that it's going to be used on a case like this that's pretty small for a micro ATX type of computer, I think this is a great option. I was looking online for original power supplies to this machine. They were ranging between 90 watts to 100 watts or 150 watts. Not very powerful. This one's running at 400 watts. You got the shielding here for all the cables, which I think is a nice touch for the price. You are limited to only 2 Molex cables. So if you are planning to buy this for a machine that's running IDE devices, you might want to consider possibly getting a converter for some of these SATA cables to Molex. They do make them. But for my purposes and for the purposes of this machine not shutting off automatically anymore, I think this is a great option. It's a very tiny power supply which fits perfectly here. As a matter of fact, it's actually a little smaller than the old one because you can see there's a gap here now. But a great option for a retro computer, I would say. I'm going to continue giving this some use to see if I notice any changes, but I think it'll just meet my needs. I don't think this machine requires that much power anyways, because it's running just one solid state drive, one CD drive, and then one diskette drive. So I don't think it's too demanding for this machine. Anyhow, thank you for joining me today. I'm so happy that I've gotten a lot of new subscribers in the last couple of weeks, and I'm very grateful for that. Please let me know if you like this video. Thank you for so much, and take care. Bye-bye.